So I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes when I was 6, I believe. It was right before my 7th birthday. Before that, kind of, I guess, one thing you've kind of had me think about was what kind of happened around that time. And I don't have a lot of distinct memories. Obviously, it's like when I was a little kid, but things stand out to me. So I was in a dual classroom, so like where they had first and second graders. And because there are so many kids, we had 2 teachers, but we didn't have to ask to go to the bathroom because you couldn't deal with that, right? Like there's just too many kids and not enough staff to kind of answer like, hey, yeah, okay, you can go to the bathroom. So they would just have us sign up on a sheet when we left the room to go to the bathroom. And that was kind of how they monitored to make sure kids weren't just like leaving all the time. Well, like as a first grader or second grader, I would only sign the sheet every other time I went to the bathroom because I would go to the bathroom so much. That's one of the symptoms. And so I even knew like this isn't right. And I distinctly remember like making that decision. Like, I'm not going to answer. I'm not going to write down every time I go to the bathroom if they're going to call me out. And my mom used to give me milk money, and I would go right when I got to lunch, get my milk, drink my whole milk, and then try and see if someone else would give me their milk money so that I could have more to drink because I was so thirsty all the time. So those are kind of 2 things I really remember. And then looking back on pictures, I was really thin. I lost a lot of weight. So I was growing kid. So it's not like that unexpected, but you could probably take, my wrists are still kind of small, but you could probably take your hand and wrap it around my wrist almost twice as a kid, just because I was so like thin and kind of sickly looking in these pictures. So looking at it now, you're like, oh yeah, there's something wrong with you. But at the time, even my dad, who was in medicine, and he wasn't the first one to kind of sound the alarm that there might be something wrong.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I was kind of reading up on it before this talk, and I did see that some of the symptoms were excessive thirst and having to go to the bathroom a lot. So you did have both of those symptoms. I guess, when did somebody finally say, like, was it your pediatrician who was like, something's up? Was it you who finally kind of figured it out?
So it was a couple things, but actually it was my orthodontist.
Oh, okay.
So yeah. So another symptom is that you have like fruity smelling breath and your gums start to recede. So I had braces. I've had braces 3 times. So, but I had braces when I was really little on my front 2 teeth. And so I went to the orthodontist, and he had actually pulled my mom aside and said, I think you might want to bring her in to see the doctor and just kind of get this checked out. Maybe suggest that they test for type 1 diabetes, because I, have read up on some of this stuff and know these are some symptoms, and she's exhibiting some of those symptoms. So not where you would expect.
Yeah, that's kind of really impressive that he noticed that. Like, he was on it. Because I wonder, had he not said that, you know what I mean? Like, how long would it have taken?
Mm-hmm. It might have taken a little longer.
Yeah, that's really neat. Props to him.
Yeah. And even like looking at me and my family, I should have caught it right away. My family should have caught it right away because, like I said, my dad's a doctor. My cousin has type 1 diabetes. Given everything, like we had the ideal situation for kind of noticing, but I think it's not something you really think about. And like I said, I was young, I was growing, some of those symptoms that may be more obvious when you're a, teenager or even in 5th, 6th, 7th grade were less obvious for a young child because it could just be growing up